Max had watched this yesterday. He had some very interesting things to say. And I kind of just wanted to share it with people, and we're gonna talk about it a little bit. Just basically the current state of fighting games right now, with Street Fighter kind of being in a drought. We did finally know that Elena is coming, but she's not coming until June 5th, excuse me, which is crazy because I feel like they pushed it off. They pushed it off for the release of the Nintendo Switch 2, but it conflicts with the pro circuit. So basically, usually when the new season starts, we're on a new patch, the last DLC characters out. But now, what, two major tournaments are already going to be don't happen by the time Elena gets out. So she'll be the first patch will be dropping really right before CEO, the same month of CEO is. So I don't know exactly what Capcom's doing, but they kind of messing a lot of things up right now. Then on top of that, Tekken 8 has completely seems like it has completely gone off the rails with some of the stuff that's going on over there. I don't know, Palm, you might be able to speak more on that on the Tekken front, but right now it looks kind of rough for Tekken. With the boycott, I think it's at about 7,000 people's signatures. Now, whether or not those signatures are legit or not, because people were signing like Nee and Arslan Ash's name on there and they didn't sign it. They said, no, we didn't sign this. So I don't really know how big it is, but 7,000 people is a lot of people. And he's going to get into all that. So let's just go ahead and pop into it. And I'm trying to do something different with the stream, guys. So let's just switch this over to just. So we just chatting. Like I said, we just chilling. I wanted to play Akuma for a bit, so we're just chilling. But let's see what Max had to say.
May Cry the animated series chat. What the fuck? I don't want to talk about this shit. This is the least interesting thing to me. Can you tell that I am like ridiculously uninterested in this shit? Can you tell that I'm trying? Really got to talk about this shit, and I would like to make some astute observations.
That Devil May Cry anime is trash.
In my space, I've had to be around a very large majority of fighting game communities from casual to competitive over the past like 15 years of my life and see what they think and respond with what their grievances are, what's good, what's bad, like all that kind of stuff, right? So there's a lot of turmoil in the modern fighting game space, and it's really difficult to take the entirety of it. So it's best we just like focus. So let's just focus on several things that have gone down over the past 2-ish weeks, and we'll just like boil it down, or things coming to a head, you know, that kind of stuff. So let's talk about the elephant in the room. So that's Tekken 8.
Yeah.
That's Street Fighter 6. That's also Fatal Fury, a game that's not even out yet. Okay, let's be real. And maybe to a certain degree 2XKO, right? Let's just talk about 2XKO. There's you know what? I'm going to give 2XKO the benefit of the doubt. Let's not put this in here. Let's also put an MK1, because I'm
going to put it in there because if they're only launching with 10 characters, and I get it, it's a free-to-play game, so there's probably going to be microtransactions in there. I would have expected at least 15, maybe 20 characters on launch, with DLC characters coming later. But that game, I don't know, man. 2SKO, I'm already basically said I'm not interested in playing it after playing that last Alpha Lab. But people are still hyped for it. They think it's going to save the FGC because Riot's behind it and Riot's going to bring all this money in, but I just don't see it happening. But I'm not going to hold this up because I think this is about probably like a 30-minute clip. So
one, I think, is a much better contrast / representation of what is going on and the comparison of what's going on to all of them. So what I'm gonna do is we are gonna dig deep now. We're gonna dig deep into our psyche, into our personal feelings about what's going on with fighting games, and we're going to pull out the deepest, darkest, most negative, gut-wrenching reactions about every single one. and compare them to every single one to figure out which one feels the worst. Which thing is going to actually make us feel the worst? Actually, I'm not doing that. Actually, we're not gonna do that.
Oh yeah,
I'm gonna
facts, man.
provide
We definitely
maybe
got to
a
keep the game
slightly
alive
more interesting take,
because I feel like it
in
might
that
have a little
the
bit of a
issues that are
struggle
happening
because
with all
right
these
now they
fighting
kind of
games
feel like they're
almost have
stumbling
nothing
out
to
the
do with each
blocks.
other. And they are all severely unique things for every game. And we're sitting at a unique period of time right now where all of this stuff sort of came to a head at the same point or is happening in the same week. So let's just like break it down. Obvious thing, right? Tekken 8. Okay. Yeah, we get what's going on. There's an issue with the current game's balance, a commitment to the absolute insanity that was the first season of Tekken 8. Although, you know, all things considered, Tekken 8 was already a game that like allowed you to explore and do some pretty crazy stuff with those characters and things. And now they just want to like extend that, you know, to a way higher degree that is starting to piss people off. So yeah, we all know kind of the discourse behind Tekken 8, and it's the fact that in my eyes the developers chose to change way too much in the direction that we were not anticipating, much less they said. So that's what's going on with Tekken 8. It's like, okay, yeah, they changed a lot, but they did it in the opposite way that we all thought they were going to do, and now it's leaning in a direction that is kind of scary and weird if this is the future of the game. Okay, sure, I get you. I'm with you. I completely agree.
Definitely did.
Let's talk about Street Fighter 6. Street Fighter 6 has almost the complete exact problem. Street Fighter 6 is a game that
Well, let's talk about Tekken because I kind of came in like Tekken 6ish, around Tekken 7, and Tekken 8 is drastically different from Tekken 6 and 7, especially Tekken 7. And I kind of knew that going in because they already had said they wanted Tekken 8 to be aggressive. They wanted people to not backdash and kind of be super defensive in this game. And so they buffed the offense. They put chip damage in, but I don't know if they really looked at it and said this fits Tekken because heat combined with chip damage is insane. And then when they basically saw that the community wanted more defensive buffs, they wanted to have more defensive options, and they said they were going to give more defensive options, which the being able to step into the foreground from crouch, that was a good defensive buff they gave. But then it's like they put the offense on steroids. It's like they took out all the weaknesses away from every character. So now every character is strong and every character can mix you and every character gives you 50/50s. It's like Lydia got 7 new moves, all which put her into stance. And I just don't know what they're doing. I'm like, even when I tried to pick this game up and play Tekken 8, it doesn't feel like Tekken 7. It feel like I'm forced into interaction that maybe I don't want to get involved with. And I can't really be defensive because I'm taking chip damage on top of just trying to block things. So it's kind of one of those things where it's like you're forced to do something instead of being able to play defensive like I want to. I'm forced to have to fight somebody. But Street Fighter has its own problems too. He's going to get into that as well. So
has been out for nearly 2 years, almost 2 years. And the only thing that has had adjustment to its core mechanical systems is the fact that Drive Rush went from being a forward input to 2 buttons.
True.
Right? Forward to 2 buttons. This game is getting close to like 24 months of existence. And the way you play the game pretty much has almost not changed at all. Yeah, reversals, also like being able to do wake up reversals and stuff. The mechanic is still there. The way you change it is like slightly different, right? They made it.
And he is completely right. And I think that's the reason why a lot of people are getting burnt out on Street Fighter so fast, because the game really, like he said, has not changed since release outside of basically them taking Drive Rush from being forward to just now you can Drive Rush with 1 button. outside of that, and like you said, reversals too. But outside of those two things, reversals and the drive button, like the game's mechanics haven't really changed. There hasn't really been a big shakeup in Street Fighter for almost 2 years. And then I was assuming when Elena came, I was assuming like June 5th, which was the start of, well, like May or June of the CPT, that we would have a big balance patch again, of course, to shake up the characters, either nerf or buff stuff, which I hope they don't nerf, but the game needs a shakeup. Like that's why people get so bored with the game because it hasn't changed in almost 2 years. The game's still fun, but it's like you're still just doing the same thing over and over and over again. You just saw me play it. Like all I was doing was the same stuff, medium, crouch medium. Oh, excuse me, not crouch medium. Low forward, drive rush, into medium punch, tatsu, uppercut. Like I'm hoping with season 3 that they're gonna bring in some characters to kind of shake things up a bit because right now the game is heavily stale. It is extremely stale.
So that you can't really screw up a drive reversal like on Wake Up. So, you know, most of those things are still functionally the same game that you have been playing for, Jesus Christ, how goddamn long? Like the past. Here's what's crazy. It might even go all the way back to the old betas. I got a fuzz in my hair. You're right. I got an annoying ass fuzz in my hair. It's not going away. So yeah, the game has been no shit. The same game. We're just adding characters. New characters, not really any big changes, just new characters. How is that bad? Is it fun? Why change it? Great question. It is fun. Why change it?
It's
because
boring.
anything, if you play the exact same thing for too long, is going to get stale, especially if it's like, you know, a headliner game like a Street Fighter. Street Fighter 5 went through way more changes significantly quicker in the time frame it had, much less Street Fighter 4 also went through way more changes significantly quicker. I'll also say Street Fighter 3 also went through way more changes significantly quicker because within 2 years after New Generation was released, we were already at Third Strike. So right now, Street Fighter 6 is getting like a little stale, and what's really good in the game is obviously really good. There's some very interesting community comparisons of like, you know, Tekken 8 to Street Fighter at the moment. And to me, it's like they are the exact opposite of a problem. You got one game that people have been playing so long that they're asking for a shakeup in some way. And you got another game that people have not been playing for that long, has already gone through several micro shakeups on the way to its season 2. And by the time season 2 happened, they were like, brah, they just like kicked the door down and they're like, oh, we're just changing everything in a weird direction. No, these are not the same problem, my dude. There is not like
Facts. The fact that Tekken 8 has gone through so many changes and so many updates over the course of basically a year, and they're just on they're what is it, season 2? And it's like they're already basically just taking all the restraints off the characters. And like I said, I just don't know what Harada and the Tekken team are really thinking about. Even casuals, and I would consider myself a Tekken casual. Like even the casual players like myself, we don't even like the game because I like Tekken because of the fact that it's not as aggressive, and you kind of have to really think before you do certain things. You can't just bum rush somebody and just throw moves out there because you'll get launched and eat a full combo, which could take pretty much all your health. But now it's like you just go nuts, just throw a move out there, just see if it'll work. Just go ham. And Street Fighter has the reverse problem where we're actually wanting them to shake the game up and change things, and they're just dragging their feet with it. And I would assume that they're making DLC costumes, and I'm pretty sure they're working on Elena, finishing her up, making DLC costumes, and making more stuff for the avatars. But the fact that they're stretching the DLC characters out this far, to me, doesn't bode well for the game because she should have been out. Her trailer should have been out. Like her trailer, that trailer we got should have been dropped at Capcom Cup, and then she should have been dropped a month after that. Like, you see what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. It's like they don't know what they're doing right now, and that is then not just the Street Fighter Tekken. That's Mortal Kombat. That's NetherRealm. That's Team Ninja with DOA, Soul Calibur. They just like the fighting games are going through such a renaissance right now, and they're just fumbling the bag with these games now because they can't sustain the health of the games for over a long period of time. And if they don't, it's like fighting games are going to go back to where they were, where now only you only have the niche people playing the game, and now it's off in the corner again. But and I know that's something people don't want to talk about, but it is something that's going to happen if they don't get their shit together.
An overarching, I get it. All fighting games in their next iterations will get quote unquote easier to play for casual players. That goes all the way back to the 90s. Okay. This is not a new thing, but still, functionally speaking, we have a couple of games that do give you a lot more tools to work with, a lot more stuff to work with. So this is very different than the casualization of fighting games in the mid 2010s, where the whole goal to casualize fighting games was just to take things away and just make it simpler. In my eyes, there was a way for you to give like characters a bunch of tools and shit and a bunch of things to work with, and it could be really fun for casuals, and the high level might have issues for it, but the high level, still is really good, and they still are the conquering reigning champions. You know what game that is called, chat? You know what game that is? It's called Tekken 8 Season 1. Literally season 1. Okay, so I think season 1, as much as it needed refinement, had a pretty good balance of that stuff, and what we wanted was that refinement, and now what people are asking for in Street Fighter is a quote-unquote refinement. If we
Once again, Max is hitting it right on the head. Like, even in Tekken 8 Season 1, the top players still stayed at the top. The regular players still stayed down here. The problem with Tekken 8 is, like he said, they wanted the game to be, the players wanted the game to be refined and polished, and basically probably I say Tekken 7.5, where it's definitely new, and the heat system adds a couple of things, but it still feels and plays like Tekken. Street Fighter also is the same thing. Like, it needs a refinement. It needs something to spice up the game. And we've been getting leaks about season 3. And if the leak that came from the guy that predicted the leaks, that basically leaked the season 2 roster before it even got released to the public, I think that might be the shakeup the game needs. Because if what he had is true, because there was one character on there I'm definitely looking forward to, and I think when he gets put into the game, he's going to be a top tier character. But let's get back to Max.
And just for comparison's sake, we know these are two very different issues between these games right now. If Street Fighter 6 got a Tekken 8 Season 2 adjustment, Street Fighter 6 throw loops would work everywhere, not just the corner. You could now get burned out without your back hitting the wall. Don't even need the wall anymore. Drive Rush costs less. The majority of moves on the majority of characters now leave you plus on block. Some people do not understand how significant of a change the Tekken 8 Season 2 patch was. They really, like, it is game changing. It is significantly different. It is terrifying. Air drive impact, air drive rush, and you would have to hold a block string in Street Fighter like you're playing Dragon Ball Fighters. Oh, how about this?
Bro,
Parrying
that shit would
also
right
take
now.
away gray health. Just period. That's what the next season of Street Fighter would do. If this was a Tekken 8 patch, next season of Street Fighter, parrying takes away
air
health,
drive rush.
So good luck, Anyway, two very different issues. Okay, so there's two games. We have another game that is like, whoa, all right. So Fatal Fury, a game that's not even out yet. This game's problem is specifically guest characters and their inclusion of said guest characters. For a while, it was the game's online functionality throughout that first beta, and like, oh my god, they've learned nothing about how to make an online fighting game since the first one. Please no. No, that was mostly alleviated in the second beta. Most of the issues that were there were sort of alleviated. So that was like, okay, you know, they got it. But now they have guest characters taking the places in the launch roster of many other characters that
and that is what pissed me off so much, dude. We got 2 guest characters, and we have to wait for Andy, Joe, and 2 more characters. I can't remember what, Chung Lee, Ken, and another Fatal Fury character. So pretty much you're gonna have 4 guest characters within the first season. What does that remind you of? Mortal Kombat. Because Mortal Kombat has what, like almost 6, I think like 6 or 7 guest characters in this game, in MK1. And then it's not the fact that they're guest characters from another fighting game, because even with Ken and Chung Li, at least they're from another fighting game. No, we got IRL guest characters. We got Cristiano Ronaldo, with however you pronounce his name, a soccer player. He's the most famous athlete, which I didn't know who he was, and we have a DJ, and it's one of those things where SNK says that they're not going to be, they're not going to let the Saudi prince basically influence their decisions, but those 2 characters kind of just fly in the face of that statement, because those feels like he pulls some strings and SNK kind of capitulated, because I believe he owns like 96% of SNK, so he definitely has influence over that studio regardless of what they say. But
time fans would want. So in a similar way, right now, the legacy fans of Tekken are being like hurt. And right now, also in a similar way, the legacy fans of SNK are being hurt. That there's a new priority for how things work. And, you know, even though you love these things from the previous game, well, you can maybe just wait for that while we try to sell this product. You know what I mean? So it's these are very different things, but in the same result, the same thing is happening. You know, we're getting. And
I get it. They gotta sell this game.
Feel like they're being somewhat disrespected in some way. But again, these are very different problems. Like the inclusion of these real lifers in SNK is nothing like what's happening to Street Fighter, which clearly needs a shakeup in its mechanics, which is nothing like Tekken, which shook up its mechanics way too much in a direction that nobody wanted. So we got 3 different problems here. And let's take the last one, Mortal Kombat 1, the last big boy. And for the majority of people that are watching this, you don't care about how Mortal Kombat plays as a video game. You just don't. It's never been a priority. It's never been the most important thing about the game. Because mostly the folks that engage with NRS and last Mortal Kombat games are there for the content. And to be real, they were justified as shit, bro. The content in MK1 was lacking, and it still is lacking as we move like 2 or getting close to 2 years after the game has been out. So yeah, there's still many things that are like, oh, dude, this should not be a problem. It still is, even when it comes to online functionality. But many of the things that made Injustice 2 great and sold people on MK11 were not the things that were present. And a lot of people didn't like the story mode. So just screw that game. I'm out, you know? But I'm here to tell you that MK1 is in the best space it ever has been right now.
And I would hate, and I'm about like Max, I hate to admit it, but MK1 is way better than it was on launch. And if you've seen some of my older videos, I don't make no qualms about it. I did not like MK1. I thought it was a piece of trash. I thought it was probably one of the worst Mortal Kombat's, worse than 11. But I can honestly say I've been playing it a little bit here and there, and the game is better than it was on launch. True. Like you have a point there, Paul. Like I get it. I get it. They're trying to sell Fatal Fury to not only just the fighting game community, they're trying to sell it to the casual community. They're trying to sell it to pretty much fans of Cristiano Ronaldo, fans of this DJ, and they're just trying to get it out there. And if they were not, I feel like Andy and Joe were supposed to be in the base roster, and they pulled them out to make them DLC characters in the first season to make room for those two characters. And I get it. The first season DLC for Fatal Fury is completely free. That's a big thing for them to just basically give you that. But that feels to me like these are characters that should have been in the base roster, but we're gonna give it to you at DLC, and we're gonna give it to you for free. And right now, I just feel like SNK. I still believe in SNK that this game is going to be good. The net code is going to be solid because that first beta, the net code was not at the best. That second beta, it was way better. It felt better. The characters felt like they were moving more. Because when I played the beta the first time, the characters felt heavy. It's like they were weighted down, and like it just felt like there was such latency in certain things. But that seemed to be alleviated within the second beta, and basically giving us training mode so we could actually figure out the characters and kind of figure out how the game is supposed to function. But I'm thinking SNK they're gonna come through. I'm pretty sure that Cristiano Ronaldo, the DJ, Ken, and Chun are probably gonna be the only guest characters. I don't see them bringing more guest characters in later on, but I could be wrong about that whole situation. They could technically bring more characters in. They could bring more guest characters in. But getting back to Mortal Kombat, that game is way better than what it was. My only concern is that the rumor that basically they're done with the game and there won't be any more DLC or a season 3 means that this game is going to pretty much die, and either we're going to get Injustice 3 or we're going to get more MK2 or MK13 or however they want to do it. Because honestly, with the story mode of that game, they just need to go ahead and reboot that because I don't see where you can go with it. They were in such a hurry to rush Bihan to Noob Saibot that I don't even think they paid attention that you don't have a Sub-Zero now. Because his brother, who should be take his place as Sub-Zero, is Scorpion. And Hanzo is a little kid training under him. Now, I don't know how they're going to correct the Sub-Zero thing, and I feel like if they do another game, they might go without Sub-Zero. And if they do that, I'm not buying it because I'm a Sub-Zero player. I only want to play Sub-Zero because he's my favorite character in the franchise. So if they don't have him in there, I'm not buying it. But let's get back to Max because he's talking a lot of truth.
Like, as a video game, as a game that you can play, and almost the entirety of the NRS community has echoed this, the same people that were harking on this game being absolute ass trash for the last year and a half, and they're just livid that this is the only
Hey,
thing
I
they
admit
can do,
it. It's a better game now.
They've gotten to a point where MK1 is actually pretty fun. Watching competitive MK1 is actually pretty fun. So at this point, the future of that game is sort of left in turmoil. We don't know where the hell it's going to go. But my dude, Mortal Kombat 1 is such a better game than it was like a year ago, such a better game than it was 6 months ago. It's way more interesting to watch, and it's way more interesting to engage with as a video game. But that's only if you enjoy the gameplay. And if you don't just enjoy the gameplay, then my dude, you're not going to You're not going to find those things that were missing from launch. So I understand it's
No.
not perfect. So again, this is another completely different issue that every single one of these games is going through. I will say there's an overall quote unquote narrative that the bigger problem with all fighting games right now is the casualization of fighting games. And I do agree to a certain point. Yes, making big guesses constantly at high level may not be the most engaging way to like play a fighting game. Like big RPS guesses like all the time, or big 50-50s all the time. I'll be honest, the goal of like high level fighting games like back then was to pretty much get to that 50-50 situation, which took a bit of effort, and then you get a true 50-50. Nowadays it's like 50-50, who gives a shit, man? I deal with that shit all the time. Like that's no problem. So to me, there's like, we've sort of been inundated by this shit. Isn't that MKX? Not anymore, dude.
Yeah, that's another thing. The I get what Palm's saying, that you got to sell this game to like a more than just fighting game players if the community is going to grow, because that's why Capcom did modern mode. That's why Tekken did smart mode. That's why Grand Blue did the same thing as smart mode. Like all the games now are coming with ways to help new players coming in kind of get into the game, understand it, learn it, and hopefully switch from the assist controls into the natural the basic common controls. The problem to me with Tekken 8 is that the game forces you into way too many 50-50 interactions with each other. And it feels like, and I can see what the pro players and the higher ranked players are saying, like, I shouldn't be able to come in off the street, haven't touched Tekken 8, and I can basically go toe to toe with somebody who's been playing for years. And to a certain degree, they've done that with Street Fighter as well, with the drive system, because the drive system makes a average player better. Because now, oh, he blocked this, oh, I just drive rush and you push button and I'm plus. Or I get a hit, I can drive rush, which you see a lot of times with guys. That's why they burn out so fast sometimes, because they just feel like, okay, my plan is that I'm just going to drive rush at you and just overwhelm you with offense. And then once I'm burnt out, I'm going to back up and be defensive until my drive gauge recovers. Then I'm going to do it again. It's like they're not really, how do I say this? They're not really trying to learn the system. They just want to get on, play a couple of games, have some fun, and then get off. And at the same time, I kind of feel like they made casual matches for players like that. If you're not interested in learning the game and you just want to mess around, then you go into casuals. And if casuals stayed over there and just played, I think things would be okay. But the fact that they're coming into rank play and trying to do all that stuff and feel like they're entitled to, how do I want to say this? Because it kind of goes back into the whole one and done thing. Like you're coming into a rank play and you're not really trying to play the set. You're trying to basically get a win and then lose and then leave. Which to me, if you're in ranked, most people in rank are trying to basically improve, get better, get stronger, so they can play better and better players and climb higher and higher in the ranks. If you just want to mess around on the game, then you got casual, and people don't care if you one and done or you just drive rush and you burn yourself out every 5 seconds because it's casuals. That's what it's there for you to go in there, have fun. But I think the fact that they've kind of, even with the Street Fighter, they've simplified the combos to a point now where just anybody can do them. And I don't think that's a good thing, especially for a pro player. If a pro player is trying to make this, pro players are trying to make this their living, like, I shouldn't be able to do what just a kid can do. I shouldn't be able to do the combos just a kid does. Hold on, y'all. I'm with you on that. Like they've been marketing this game everywhere. The Ice Show Speed commercial where they're like this City of Wolves combined with a boxing match. I get it. He's a super popular streamer. Of course, people are gonna tune in. They're gonna watch just because he's there. Him and Kai Sanat, those kind of streamers right there. Of course, you want to get them in because you want to try to sell this game to everybody. Like my the thing I'm thinking about with SNK is that let's just say they have that big launch and the game sells what's it? Let's say 2 million, like a million copies right out the gate. It's like you have to then kind of feel like, okay, if it sells a million copies, let's cut that in half. That's 500,000. They're actually going to play the game for more than a couple of months. Okay, uh, now let's take out some more players because people are going to get online. They're going to either play casual or they're going to go into ranked and they're going to get bopped. So I'm thinking you're talking about at least another 300,000 dropping off. So that leaves you with, let's just say 200,000. And over the course of time, like fighting games just naturally over the course of time, like they start super high, but then the player base starts to tail off towards like the longer the game is out. And right now, there's so many fighting games out that there's so many fighting games out now that it's kind of like you have a lot of cross pollination. Like, because I played Street Fighter, I played Guilty Gear, I played MK, I played Tekken, I've played all these fighting games that's come out. I got Melty Blood. I'm getting Melty Blood. I got Under Night. I got Grand Blue. So there's a lot of cross pollination with the community, and that's why when I look at the numbers at tournaments and stuff, I'm like, the community is not really growing. It's really just number shifting between games, and that's a problem because if you're trying to make this a living as a pro player, a casual player shouldn't be able to do what I do. Like they shouldn't be playing at my level. And the fact that they're making the games more accessible to like casual players is bringing that barrier between the pro and the casual player closer and closer and closer. Where Tom Brady said he had a saying, "You're gonna have more people on the field than the stands." So if you had a football game, people are paying to watch you play. But if you make the game where it's easier, you're gonna all those people in the stands are gonna come out. They're gonna come out the stands and be on the field because they like I can play the game now. So right now it's a balance they gotta walk when it comes to just just how they're gonna do these games and how they're gonna implement these new modern controls systems that they want to. Because I didn't really pay too much attention to the Fatal Fury one because I didn't really. Yeah, like I said, like there has to be a separation between a pro player and me. I shouldn't be able to basically go toe to toe with Punk. Like and when they the way they make the games easier is basically allowing players that aren't really that good to feel like they're better than what they are, that they can compete with you even though they're not as good. And it kind of gives them like false confidence because the second they run into an actual good player that knows how to punish and knows how to basically just take all their options away, now they're gonna get frustrated. And then they're gonna once they start getting to a certain rank in the game, you're gonna start running to players that know what they're doing. Like even when I was playing Akuma and playing the platinum, it's like I wasn't doing really any of the Akuma stuff. I just did the basic B&B stuff, basic setups, stuff like that. I didn't really do anything, that difficult. But I'm so used to playing at a specific level, like playing against master rank players, diamond and higher diamond rank players. So it's definitely one of those things where going down there and having to grind him through platinum up, it felt kind of just like easy. But I don't know. It's just hard to say right now. Yeah, and that's the one thing. Shoot, that boy over there on YouTube, Noisy. Yeah, he did have a good cause. Yeah, talking about players getting destroyed, and I do agree with that. I like if you come in there and you just obliterate somebody, they're gonna lose their confidence, and they're not gonna really want to play the game because it's like, well, man, I don't want to go online. Like people are just gonna go online. They like, I don't want to go online and get 50 old by these players. I just want to have a good time, and then they're just gonna go play another game. So it's like a thin line they're walking right now between the casual and the more competitive player that they kind of need to figure out a little bit more. But I don't really want to hold this video up because I've been talking way too long.
Hell no! Last patch of MKX, the game is not that way. If you guys are saying that was MKX, my dude, they slowed literally every single goddamn overhead in that game practically. Almost every single one. Where MKX is about holding the mid, it is so much better to have an incredibly powerful mid attack than it is to have like a super powerful overhead or like a good low starter. No. MKX is not just 50-50 the game anymore. It turned into something very different. So to be like, oh, the gameplay of Tekken 8's just like MKX, that's not true. Maybe for the first like few months of that game, sure. But still, I agree that I don't think the highest level of fighting games should just be boiling down to a guess. It shouldn't just constantly like 4 to 5 to 6 times per round boiling down to guesses that will mean the game for you. I don't think
it shouldn't just boil down
satisfying,
to just,
you know, especially if you don't really
50,
like,
50
if it
the
doesn't
other
feel
person.
like you really have to earn that. And yeah, I do think that there is room for refinement. They literally changed that in Mortal Kombat X as the game went on. So what I'm trying to communicate here is that the casualization is the modern narrative of like why fighting games suck. And I do agree to a certain point about, you know, the guessies part of it. But at another point, these games don't inherently suck. Like Tekken 8 was pretty fun, man. Like for the majority of that first season, they were fixing things and it was getting better and they were toning down the bullshit until, you know, they decided to do an initial D Akana downhill U-turn. But in the same way, Street Fighter 6 was a system that most people really liked. In fact, Street Fighter 6 has been a game that has been this like, whoa, yeah, oh, no, whoa, yeah, oh, no, whoa, yeah. And now we're on this little like downward spiral. This game's the best. This game sucks. This game's the best. This game sucks. Like that has been what has been going on for the past near 2 years of Street Fighter. And then, you know, we have Mortal Kombat 1, which has gone from this thing to this game sucks, and now it's actually kind of good. Now it's actually sort of fun. So Fatal Fury isn't even out yet. I can't even like harshly judge that situation because I'm just
I don't want to harshly judge City of Wolves. The game's not out yet. Until the game, I'm gonna hold off my opinions on it.
The message of this story is that none of these things are the same. They may seem like they're the same if you like, you know, try to wrap everything around the casualization of fighting games is ruining everything. It's like, my dude, Tekken 8 is the most uncasual friendly. I don't know what I'm talking. Tekken 8 is like the most casually unfriendly Tekken game in season 1 that I think I've ever played, you know, and it took a turn, you know, that turn definitely shifted, but season 1 was not particularly like this game is just great for casuals. My dude, your ass got stomped by legacy skill, and then you had to deal with all these other characters that were like 3 times the character when they're in heat mode, and then you have Street Fighter, which is not a game that is just inherently super easy to just pick up and be a god at. Like, no, dude, Street Fighter 6 is so mechanically dense that the majority of people that don't play fighting games will not be getting those mechanics in their head or functioning the way they want them to for like months. Like, it'll take you so long to get out of gold or some shit. So to be real, these games by their intrinsic design are not super casual friendly. We have seen fighting games that were mega casual friendly, and they were not fun games, dude. I don't even want to call names. I don't even want to say anything, but we know what happened over the past 10 years and how it had an impact on just like the way the game looks and how interesting is the engagements and stuff. And it just wasn't. It was just like, dude, what are we looking at? This game is not fun. The first few minutes of you playing it, you're like, this is not fun. There's nothing to do. What are we doing here, man? So to me, there is at least the games we have right now. This is the positive max kicking in. We have something that at its core does have a lot of enjoyment, but needs refining. Tekken 8 needs refinement in the other direction. Street Fighter needs refinement in the opposite direction, right? Street Fighter needs refinement in a way that we actually want things to change. But to be real, again, if Street Fighter 6 got a refinement the same way that Tekken did, if they just enhance all the really annoying shit, we're going to make Drive Rush twice as fast. We're going to make it so that you can throw loop anywhere on the screen. We're going to make it so that you get burned out anywhere on the screen. No corner needed anymore. Yeah, people would be friggin' pissed. You know, that would be
if they did that, the community would riot.
I don't know why they did it in Tekken. So anyway, all I'm trying to say is these problems aren't related to each other. And the good news is that even though we're in sort of a dire spot right now with some of these games and a big unknown one with Fatal Fury and the potential of Mortal Kombat, we're in a spot where things can get changed. Things can go through minor refinements and actually have them turn out
Tekken can get better, guys. It's not over yet.
In like a 6-month time frame, if not a little bit less.
Street Fighter, all these guys. If Mortal Kombat can do it, Tekken and Street Fighter can do it.
If you totally commit to just changing the spirit of your game in some way, then a lot of people are going to be upset, which is what happened with Tekken. And if you also don't commit to changing your game at all, you're going to run into a Street Fighter situation where people are just sick of seeing the exact same, like sort of like 1 out of 3 RPS situation over and over and over again. You know, I get it. I completely understand. So to me, I don't think the casualization of all this stuff is inherently the problem, because these games aren't intrinsically casual friendly. They're really not. And it does lead me hope that devs now, I'm pretty sure they understand. I'm pretty sure they get it. And I am personally looking forward to, as much as I don't want to play Tekken as much as I wanted to, the game is still fun to a degree until like the really annoying shit happens. And Street Fighter has still been a fun game that I could jump back in and play and relearn and reacclimate and sort of come across like, yeah, dude, this is really engaging. But I could see how at a highest level, yeah, I can see how if you're only playing this game all the time, you just have to make those choices like so frequently, and they have to be the right ones. You know, that could be a little frustrating of just like, I had to make the right call, you know. Ugh, you know. So anyway, I just I want to give you some perspective. This isn't nearly as bad as we think it is. This isn't the end of fighting games in general. In fact, there is a growing point that's happening right now. When fighting games were actually at their best potentially like a year ago, where it felt like, man, this can't get any better, right? This is just so crazy. This is just so cool. There's a little bit of a growth period happening at the moment in the in the growth of now a much more thriving fighting game market. And it feels like maybe, just maybe, like some stuff is happening on an executive level because the market is getting bigger, the games are getting larger, that some like outside factors might be coming in and messing shit up. So we don't know. We'll find out. There are new fighting games on the horizon. Fatal Fury isn't even out. 2XKO still is coming out. So, you know, all I'm saying is I would like to have faith in the dopeness of fighting games. And I would like to have faith that we can get games that don't all require you to make just big guesses like all the time at a high level, and the whole game just boils down to 5 or 6 big guesses per round. Like that doesn't feel necessarily great. I think we can get there. And to be real, my prediction is that Street Fighter is going to go through that change. I think they will. I think it's going to be an evolved game that will go through that change, and I'm going to give Capcom the benefit of the doubt that they know this. And when we do eventually get a Season 2 announcement, possibly in the next couple months, we might see some stuff that really pushes the game forward.
Yeah, like I said, Max spoke a lot of truth there, and got the YouTube. I got YouTube up on phone, guys, because I had to do it on the TV. I wouldn't say that, because there's no way they could separate rank like that, where you have all the modern or special style players play over here, all the regular players play over here. Like that wouldn't be a good thing to separate the players like that. That's why I say it's a tricky like line to walk with the game because you don't want to alienate those new players coming in and basically say, hey, you guys that just coming in, yeah, y'all go over there and y'all play amongst yourselves. And when you ready to play the real game, then you put it on classic and come over here and play with us. Like you wouldn't want to separate the player base like that because I think even with modern controls in Street Fighter, like you don't really see that many modern players once you get to like Diamond and stuff, Diamond and Master and all that stuff. You don't really see them that often. Like we ran into what about 3 or 4 of them to when we were playing tonight, but that's not really a common thing now because all those players are kind of dropped off the game. So with 2XKO, I think the thing that's going to help 2XKO the most is the fact that it's going to be free to play. I'm not going to play it, but the fact that it's free to play, I could definitely see a lot of people cutting it a lot of slack. And because of the guys, the Cannon brothers putting it together, the community is going to cut it a lot of slack because of that. Is it justified? Maybe. But yeah, I don't think you could separate ranks like the casual the ranks are already kind of separated like that. Like usually a casual is like in Street Fighter 6, like platinum is like to me it's like it's like not diamond. It's like bronze and silver. That's basically where those all those players are at, like bronze and silver players in Street Fighter 5. They're basically platinum players because I think the the placement system definitely needs to be reworked and how it basically places players because there's master players that really shouldn't be in master rank. That's why there was such a big upheaval with the higher rank players saying, hey, why am I having to play this dude? He has like 200 MR. So why am I having to play this dude? I don't get 1 point for it. And if I lose to this dude or he just helping pull off like some wild wake up super win, I'm losing like what 50, 60 points. But if I beat him, I'm only gaining 1. Like, nah. Like right now, I know I'm saying that a lot. I think I should be saying more so I know, but I just this is just my opinion. Like Capcom should, if they need to tweak the placement system and they need to basically reset everybody's level back to 1 and have everybody place again. And I know some people are gonna say that's annoying because you have to place because basically you have to grind every character individually to a certain rank. But I think that's about the only way you can really fix things because even with the master system now they added master, high master, and ultimate master. Is separating them out a little bit more, but I feel like they're still going to be complaining about it. And I think like they still complain about the point distribution, things of that effort. But yeah, I would say yeah, Killer Instinct's ranking system is actually pretty good. I'm trying to think of other games that had good ranking systems. I think Street Fighter 4's ranking system was good because you didn't have like a title. It's just you're just getting points, and so it wasn't really like a big deal. Like you could be at a certain level and you're still playing against a player. But now that they've switched to this rank system, where now everybody has like their little title by their name. I'm Diamond, Platinum, Master, High Master, Ultra Grandmaster, whatever. I think people care more about the title next to their name more so than actually learning the game. That's why you see a lot of people one and done it because they're more concerned about trying to hold on to their points and trying not to lose a rank that they have. But we're not gonna talk about that because me and Palm and Shadow, when I get this whole thing set up, we're gonna get into that whole one and done situation and my opinions on that. But I don't know. You gotta let me know what y'all thought about Maximillian and what he had to say. I think he hit a lot of good points right on the head. Like I say, Pong could probably tell you more about Tekken on the Tekken side, because I believe he's been playing it probably a lot more than I have, way more than I have. Yeah, but just for me on the outside looking in, like right now, Tekken feels like it's on fire. It feels like the Tekken community is basically burning itself to the ground, and I think the next two patches for this game are going to be probably the most significant for this game, is because if they don't fix or get this game right in the next two patches, I feel like Tekken 8 is going to be a dead game. And the only people that's going to really be playing it are pros and people who just like they're just diehard Tekken players. Because right now, I know a lot of people like we got Tekken refugees and people leaving trying to go to other games. And I'm just, and then this boycott going on. I'm like, it's definitely something that I think the community is definitely gonna have to basically make a decision on one way or the other. Either you're gonna let Tekken 8 die and just wait for Tekken 9, or you're gonna give them time to fix it and try to see if they can rebalance the game and kind of bring it more back in line with how Tekken is. But I'm about to say it's already getting late. I didn't even know it was 12 o'clock, man. But I'm gonna cut that out and make that a video on YouTube. Appreciate you, Pawn, coming through there. Appreciate you know that noisy over there on YouTube. Appreciate both of y'all coming in, sitting with me. I'm probably gonna start doing these a lot more when I stream. Just have like a video. We just at the end of a session, we just sit and talk. Cause I'm trying to mix it up a little bit, give you guys more chance to talk directly to me instead of just me doing a video and having to answer a bunch of comments. But both of y'all guys, y'all be safe out there. Take it easy. I'll see y'all tomorrow. We're probably doing Guilty Gear or something. Because I did promise I was going to stream today and tomorrow. Because I haven't given y'all guys any content pretty much for a good little bit. But y'all be safe out there. I'm finna go get relaxed and just kind of have a good time for a minute. But y'all be safe. Peace. I'm out.